Donald Trump so hastily attacked Iran, now we're kind of learning that we were cajoled or pressured or bamboozled or hoodwinked, however you want to look at it, by Israel to attack Iran, that we weren't ready. We didn't have our hardened our targets. Our bases weren't ready. Our personnel weren't ready. And now there's loss of life at the hands of Iran, but of American troops have died. Donald Trump was so hasty in planning this war, he abandoned U.S. citizens overseas. In this case, a retired United States Major General who is just, I guess, languishing in a hotel room in the UAE and was interviewed by CNN. And he is blaming what's taking place right now on budget cuts at the State Department. We'll get to that. We'll cover those numbers. First, though, here is his quick interview, a piece of it from CNN, talking about he does not feel supported by his government, that they are so busy protecting themselves over at the State Department that they have little time for private citizens who are also in harm's way.
But General, when you see Pete Hegseth, the defense secretary, saying that the strikes in Iran aren't going to spiral into something more protracted or bigger, he declares this is not Iraq, this is not endless. Do you have confidence in that?
It seems to me that the purpose and mission have been shifting over the past few days and the past few weeks. Initially, it was to ensure that they could not continue to develop nuclear weapons. Now it's about regime change. And then there's so many things that are being piled on to the mission list. It almost seems like someone Googled it before the brief to throw everything on the kitchen sink into it. So it's a little bit disconcerting. And in fact, one of the small things that does matter to tens of thousands of people here, as well as to their families, it's a little bit disheartening and a little bit envious to hear that the BBC has announced that the UK government is actually arranging transport for the British citizens to be able to extract them, whereas here for us as Americans, we feel abandoned. The State Departments, I've talked to two embassy personnel, two different embassies. They are in survival mode, quite frankly, because as we know, the administration reduced their budgets by almost 1/2 over the past year. So this is a difficult situation for people who are not used to being in a combat situation. And that, of course, is, quite frankly, probably 99% of the travelers that are here.
So this isn't just about, well, nobody's getting out. Other countries, they can't get anybody out either. This is a betrayal of their duties at the State Department. And some of it's not their fault. Some of it, the careerists over there, I'm sure, are very good people. They've been hamstrung. Because the other element that he's talking about budget cuts, is absolutely true. This is from New Jersey PBS. Trump budget cut list revealed. Documents quietly released on Friday detail aim to slash billions more in next budget cycle. This from June of last year. This is some new hit piece. This has been a concern and on the radar of people who care and report on such matters for months and months and months. And here we are. Any reasonable person could see when you cut to the degree that they cut into the State Department's budget, you're going to have problems. When you cut into the budget of FEMA, there's going to be problems. When you cut into the budget of Health and Human Services relative to SNAP and a bunch of other programs, you're going to have problems. It's from the article, under the Trump administration's budget proposal, the Department of State, combined with some other international programs, would receive the largest cut of any cabinet-level agency by dollars and percentage, $49.1 billion, or 83.7%. It's remarkable, right? $50 billion. I guess it doesn't really matter that Donald Trump is suing the Treasury Department and the IRS for $10 billion, for 20% of the money that they cut from the budget of State Department. Donald Trump is getting ready to enrich himself from the Treasury, from we the people. But blah, 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 good stewards of taxpayer dollars and everything, right? Blah, blah, blah. Small government works better, even though we've abandoned retired major generals, people who dedicated their entire lives, adult lives, careers in service to the nation, can't get a ride home because Donald Trump was champing at the bit for regime change war. The guy who literally campaigned at every event about how if you vote for Kamala, your kids are going to be sent to war, as he gets into office and then sends your kids to war. I mean, we got to come up with a new word. Here's your task for the day. Comment below. It'll help the algorithm. That's why I'm doing it. But also, we need to come up with something stronger than hypocrite. We need a new term, a new designation for Republican. You know how Germans and the Japanese also have like one single word that communicates a broader, more complex concept? We need that in America for Republican hypocrisy. Man, I'm cooking right now. I'm hot right now. We need this. I'm cooking and hot, just not creative enough to come up with my own. So I'm crowdsourcing. Let's do that.